Good evening and welcome to SoCalSportsReport.com's live podcast number 82. I'm Vince Morales filling in the captain's chair for John Stellman. I'm alongside the Furminator, Jake Furmansky and the Scrapper, John Adams. Welcome, fellas.
Hello, hello.
Tonight we will talk LA baseball. One LA team is hitting on all cylinders and the other is spinning its wheels. But there are signs of life. We will talk Dodgers and Angels baseball. It's the second day of the MLB first-year player draft, formerly known as the amateur draft. We'll chat a bit about that, some local guys and some local interests. Jake will fill us in on a couple of local guys and where they're going or where they may not be going. UCLA Bruins baseball and softball advanced the men into the College World Series. Super Regionals, the Lady Bruins are in the Women's College World Series, up 1-0 in a best-of-3 finals against Oklahoma. We'll talk about one player's superhuman effort to advance their squad. We will talk NBA Finals. Warriors and Raptors are tied 1-1, and as they say, the series doesn't start until the home team loses. While Toronto has lost home court advantage, the finals return to Oracle. Lakers and Clippers both chomping at the bit to get to free agency. Doc's wallet is 50 large lighter because of his enthusiasm for Kawhi. And the U.S. Open Golf Championship is at Pebble Beach next week. And Mr. Adams will get you up to speed and maybe give you a couple of betting tips. So let's get started with, or maybe not, or maybe he'll just throw out a couple of names. And
there are a lot of gentlemen playing in that tournament. There's not five. I have five guys. So
okay, good.
It's very chalky. It's very chalky.
Okay,
so,
that's okay. We'll always ask for a sleeper, and we'll see where you go with that.
All right.
But for right now, we'll talk about baseball. Why don't we start with the MLB draft, the amateur draft, the first-year player draft, in its second day. What round are we in now, Jake?
We are in the we're going to be the second round's done, so we're going to be in the third round. So this is 11 through 21.
Got it. So we're
halfway, almost done.
Okay. So a couple of local kids from J. Sarah, right?
Chase Strump got picked up by the Cubs in the compensation round, so that was like in between the first and the second round.
64th overall.
64th, yeah, good player. I had the privilege of coaching against him when he was at J. Sarah. I'm glad he's gone. He was
was he a second baseman?
He was
there
a shortstop. He came in as a shortstop. I mean, he was on the varsity team his freshman year. Kid could absolutely rake. I mean, he was absolutely fun to watch and just a great kid too. Nothing bad you could say about him.
And Davis Wenzel, third baseman from Baylor, drafted by the Texas Rangers as one of the competitive balance picks. 41st player drafted overall. Yep. Did you get to see him?
Yeah, also they were both on the same team. That was really fun.
That must have been fun to go against.
Yeah. A lot of intentional walks that game. But, he was a good kid. San Clemente kid. I think he's playing third base. I think he was playing third base for Baylor this year. So good to see him. I mean, I saw him on the regional game, and I didn't even recognize him, how big and strong he's gotten. So, congratulations to him.
Yeah, and then a former San Clemente High School and Saddleback College and UCI, Tanner Brubaker, who was picked 28th by the Tampa Bay Rays, in the 28th round by the Tampa Bay Rays last year, still not undrafted right now. Any insights? He's throwing hard.
He's throwing hard. I know him and Palante were, I think, 1-2 in ERA this year. I know he's fastball's 95, 96, and I think he'll get picked up early tomorrow. Just how the draft's been going, it's been a lot of college pitchers. So, I think with his size and his stature and how he's throwing and how Saddleback helped him get into UCI and made him a better pitcher. I think he'll have no problems getting picked up tomorrow by somebody.
That's what I noticed. It was very lighter, more on the high school and more than I've seen in the past.
A lot more polished guys, I think, in college.
Well, the Dodgers have taken their first high school pitcher ever, I think.
Ever, yeah.
And the kid who was the second best pitcher on his high school team in Texas. So some interesting stuff going on there, at least from what we can tell. The Dodgers took third baseman Cody Hosey, I think is the way it's pronounced, and then Michael Bush was picked 31st, and then that Jimmy Lewis is the pitcher. Big kid, kind of the 6'6", sort of like Brubaker, who's 6'5",
6'5".
Is he going like a full 220? You think?
I would say just for the? I would say that's for the scouts.
Okay.
220 is a stretch.
6'6" and spikes.
It's spikes, yeah.
220
with water,
soaking wet.
Yeah.
With the afro.
And any other? Why don't we talk a little bit about the three Bruins went right? Michael?
Well, yeah, one of the kids was from J. Sarah that you just
Strumpf,
mentioned,
right?
Yeah,
UCLA, right?
And the other kid, Toglia, is that how you say it? Yeah, Toglia. And actually, both these kids, Toglia and
Ryan Garcia.
actually struck. But both those kids were actually very beneficial to win that game in the last night against LMU to actually advance. So they all went in the first round, or 64 the first round, or 64 the second.
It's a supplemental.
Yeah, it's a competitive balance.
But they went. Nobody. I don't think anybody from the other local schools of
I think USC had somebody finally in maybe the fourth round. It's not a good squad.
Blake Sables got picked up from USC. He was a Lisa Nagel guy.
Okay.
So he just got picked up when I was on my way here. Don't know who yet, but they said that he was already off the board.
That's probably then a second Trojan from a not very good team. As we've said last week, Dan Hubbs. They did not resign him as the head coach of the Trojans, and they're looking for somebody. Alvarez.
Jake, you throwing your resume?
Yeah.
No.
Come on, Jake. Come on.
No.
I know it's SC. It's just the other SC. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Alvarez, one of the assistants, Gabe Alvarez, looks like a front runner, and I was hoping that the UC Santa Barbara coach Checketts
did not take it, or
well, I don't know. I'm hoping that we might still see them.
There's going to be a fun coaching carousel in college baseball around here this summer.
Yeah.
Because even the LMU kid coach might be involved.
Long Beach State, Fullerton. It's going to be very – I know Vanderhook's still there, but I've heard there's rumors about some of his assistants he might pick up are, big-time guys. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah, so the Bruins in the College World Series Super Regionals against Mission, they'll start their series coming up this weekend. And the women, as we said before, looking for their first title ever, just dominated with 4 home runs, 16 runs, just pounding.
Up 2-0 already in the first.
And up 2-0 in the first. Yeah. So Rachel Garcia, what a stud. What can you say? A 17-inning shutout and then a walk-off home run.
Yeah.
What an absolute domination. 180 pitches, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. 17 strikeouts.
Yeah.
And 16 strikeouts in 17 innings. Woo.
Yeah.
Dominating performance to get them over the hump and trying to get them to the promised land, and it looks like it might happen tonight for the Lady Bruins.
Yeah, there's a great little story there. I don't know if you guys looked into this at all. I was watching a little bit of the end of it last night when they were just kind of taking it to Oklahoma. They were bringing in the center fielder to pitch, and more or less, what do they call it? Johnny Allstaff started coming in late. And let me get to my notes here.
Mopping up.
Sorry,
you want to borrow my glasses?
No, sorry.
So they didn't have an opener?
The girl's name is Jesus, went blank.
You just make something up. They won't know.
Yeah.
Taylor. Let's call her Taylor.
No, I got it. I thought
Brianna.
No,
those are the
Stop
strippers.
Whoa!
Hey, where did this go?
This is a family show, Vince.
Sorry.
I'll look it up.
All right.
No, here we go.
Oh, there it
is. Stevie, I want to say it's Stevie Wiz, W-I-Z.
Stevie Nicks?
Wiz, W-I-S-Z is her name. This girl has decided this year to play with the team because I guess the coach there does a phenomenal job in putting a squad together, and it's just like a big family there. Mm-hmm. And she plays with a pacemaker. Oh, wow. And she is actually wanted to delay this heart surgery. She's going to have open heart surgery.
Wow.
Next week or in maybe a couple weeks. So she asked the doctor if she could at least go through the finals, knowing that they have a great chance to win the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And it was great to see her up by 10 runs or whatever. She got to pinch run and play a little bit late in the game, and she will be graduating next week, and then having her open heart surgery the week after that.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a great little story. It was kind of a late inning kind of story when she got to pinch run, and so there was a little piece on her. So I thought Stevie Wiz, yeah,
cool.
So.
I want to say she might be local, too, I think. Mission Viejo girl, I think.
Please hold. Let me see if I can find
out. Yeah, we'll look that up.
Yeah.
So, Jake, I was talking a little bit, joking around a little bit about the Angels kind of spinning their wheels, and it feels like that, but it also feels like there's some good takeaways. I mean, Suarez in his debut was pretty damn good. Not quite a quality start. I mean, he was just about a third of an inning short of that, but looked good.
I was shocked that Osmus actually had him go out for that sixth inning. I thought that was actually, a win for Angel fans just to see somebody, go over 4 or 5 innings. But Puelo looked pretty good. But Suarez, though, I mean, that's all you're hearing about this kid, in the Fall Classic and everything, and how, this is kind of one of the pieces for the Angels in the, down the road who could help us, and how he looked against Seattle. I was like, things are starting to look up for the Angels finally. And actually, the Angels, for the second round day, drafted all pitchers. So about time they did that.
Because they went after 2 shortstops.
2 shortstops in the first round.
One kid's committed to Cal, right? And I think when I looked up his numbers, I said, this kid needs to go to Cal. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's only batting, I think he hit 312 in 91 games with no home runs. What I'm seeing there, Vince, is guys that have shortstop mentalities that can play second base or third base down the road. The kid that they drafted number 1 overall, he's got some power numbers.
Yeah, he does.
Kid from North Carolina State.
Yeah.
And first time I looked at this, I'm like, they're going to try to let him play third base. If they can get him to go and he can produce bombs like that. I mean, it's just like Nolan Arenado, right? He was a shortstop in high school, and they turned him into a third baseman. And with this kind of power that this kid has, played strong D1 baseball and had some good power numbers, I think it's possibly could be a third baseman for the future. Yeah. But again, look what Taylor Ward did. He's been a bombshell. But that's what kind of see. I see them trying to keep working that middle infielder and possibly able to push one of them to third base, and then
because last year
because obviously they're going to have to go after a first baseman here pretty soon too. So so that's that's kind of what I saw in the first round. I mean, I'd let that kid go to Cal for 3 years and get stronger, and that's a good program up there.
No, it is. The one thing that's kind of a head scratcher too, and I don't know, maybe it might be a little bit more personal that we know, but that Matt Theus kid that Angel fans have been hearing for 4 or 5 years now still hasn't been up yet. So it's like, does
and
he
that's
not fit the analytical
and that's one
numbers?
thing I wanted to talk about and kind of throw it on the table and Vince, kind of get your input too. I think I know where Jake and I kind of stand on this whole deal, but you're looking at a team that's 11 games now back or 10 games back of Houston, right? Really don't see a situation of them even battling to even be a contender, 1, in the league. 2, I don't think they were going to be good enough to possibly get a wild card spot due to the fact that Boston, New York, or somebody from the East is probably going to get that.
Yeah.
You've just seen a little bit of some youth come up and kind of hold their own. I mean, the kid at second baseman is doing a good job. They brought up Suarez, and he held his own. I know he just went back to AAA today or yesterday, and they brought up Taylor Ward for that game up in Chicago, 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. But
first overall,
Adele now has gone from single A to double A. Hopefully he's up with the Bees by, after the All-Star break. When do you pull the parachute, right? When do you say, all right, Cozart, you're done. You're batting $125. You got shoulder problems. Here's your $35 million. You go away. Poor Fletcher, right? Fletcher is now the kid at second base. I forget how to say his name.
Gino.
Whatever. He finally hit a bomb the other day. Is he your future second baseman? And you play little Fletcher at second base, and he's your Kiki Hernandez. You know what I mean? That goes all over the field, right? Or play shortstop when Simmons is is down. When do you kind of say, okay, hey, Major League Baseball, we got guys here for sale? Like, the Justin Uptons, when he gets back, if he starts producing, right? Cole Calhoun's not going to be, you're not going to be able to get rid of, but maybe there's somebody, maybe a couple pitchers or something like that you can kind of get rid of to try to boost that AAA or boost your minor leagues, and then kind of just bring them up and get them all experienced. I don't know. When do
I
you
think,
pull that parachute?
I think, obviously teams want to get closer to the trade deadline, right? They want to make sure that they get a little closer to that so that they're not selling low, right? So that's a problem. Andrew McCutcheon out for the season with an ACL. So there's a possibility you can offload somebody. I think the Angels they have some gaps, and we know that. Is that going to be filled by the farm system? I mean, are you satisfied when you look down and you look at those names and think that that's going to go? Because if you're not, then the time is pretty quick.
Yeah.
You can't wait.
No,
till
do you
the
make
trade
that
deadline.
usually?
You can't. I don't think you can wait till the trade deadline to try and make something happen.
But the thing is also, if you look at the standings, they're 3.5 out of the second place wild card. The Angels are.
yeah.
So now you're kind of going, with
Well,
how
I mean,
bad our
because
rosters
you
were
could get
still-
streaky, right?
Yeah.
And things could go right? You bring Suarez back up, and you got Candy's
Yeah.
doing a great job. So all of a sudden, maybe you've kind of put a staff together, right? And do you get rid of the Cahills? Do you get rid of the Harveys or whatever, right? You can kind of. But hey, you got 4 kids that are actually holding their own, and maybe keep Cahill and release Harvey or whatever you do at $11 million. I don't know if anybody's going to take that on. But what I'm trying to say is, you kind of maybe start grabbing the shells, on the table and start maybe piece something together. Then all of a sudden, Upton comes back and it helps the lineup,
Right.
and you're a half a game out. But what I'm trying to say is, do you pull the parachute and start dumping when you're 6 games out of that? Or what's that number?
I would wait till after the All-Star break.
Obviously, yeah, no
I
doubt
think you
about
have
it.
to.
I mean, you got it, because there's a lot of teams. Look at the St. Louis Blues, right? The St. Louis Blues came out of, starting this in January. They were the worst team in the NHL, and they got a chance of winning this damn thing, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. You gotta kind of monitor it, but there's got to be a point in August, or I don't know, is it July?
July.
That you just pull the parachute and say, all right, here we go. We're future, right? Here comes the future. So
I don't know what the Angels' plan is developmentally. I think sometimes you have to be patient and you just sort of bring your kids on, and you've got some burdensome contracts that you're trying to get past. Trying to get over that hump, but you can't panic, right? You can't give
and
give
at
away
3.5 games, you can't panic. I totally understand that. But I look back at when the Cubs won the World Series. Their whole entire infield was making league minimum of rookie salaries of like $400,000 a year, right? There's a point of me saying it's almost like tennis. It's almost like golf. These kids nowadays can handle these big, the big time now. So obviously you're seeing kids not spending too much time in the minor leagues and getting up early and I'm just wondering, like,
you can't rush them either, though. I mean, and we know that, right? Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't just put a bunch of 20-year-olds in your lineup. But 21, like Suarez, that's probably early. It's probably earlier than you thought you were going to see him, right?
Yeah, that's
because he only pitched 1 inning in spring training.
Right.
I mean, of course it was, but the kid held his changeup, his dynamite. I mean, it's
and that's promising.
And
but
what do
again,
you know? It's
they're not
another
gonna rush
lefty.
him.
I mean, we're full of lefties, right? So
Yeah, you don't want to get fleeced. Trying to rush out there. You're hanging on. You're hanging around. You still got Mike Trout out there. Is he 100%?
I don't think he is.
I don't think so either.
He's still doing good. He's still doing good.
To me, it's like when you get Trout 100%, you get Upton back. There's some things happening. Maybe one of these kids starts to get more at bats. You can give less at bats to Pujols. I don't know. He's still.
Oh yeah,
I'm not. Yeah, driving in runs.
He's still hitting like 3-0s.
Yeah, but it is a little concerning how many off days he's been taking off though too, for Trout. So, I mean, I get it. They're in that crazy 20-game stretch, and I understand that. But I mean, just from defensively, looks a little bit slower. But I mean, who knows? Well, it doesn't really matter. I can't stand watching that Goodwin kid play left field anyway.
Oh,
so I'm kind of waiting for Upton to come back.
He's atrocious.
When is he due back?
In this homestand. No, he'll start playing games in the minor leagues this homestand.
He got no spring training.
Right.
So should be next.
The Angels are definitely not
month.
like the Dodgers, who are putting up slow pitch softball numbers.
It's crazy.
It really is.
They've won 6 straight. They're 42-19,
and they're just. You watch their games when you can, and it's just it's just these kids are just got oodles of confidence. I mean, it's just pouring out of their pores. It's just
it feels different this year,
big time.
It feels different this year, and that's saying something for a team that has been to the playoffs, won the division 6 straight times, have been to back-to-back World Series. This feels like it could be an even better team. There's more balance through the lineups. They're not swinging at pitches. This is such a disciplined team. It's unbelievable. Cody Bellinger, for instance, the massive numbers that he's putting up, he's just got such great. They just grind. I mean,
but again, that success is there's guys feeding off of him. There really are. They're the Muncies. These guys are feeding off of Bellinger's year. I mean,
and Muncie has to have a lot of confidence after hitting 35 home runs last year, and Verdugo is just dripping with confidence. And he's sort of like the energy of Puig without the distractions of Puig, right? He's been a tremendous teammate, and I hope that that's sustainable. And people like him, and they think he's fun. And Freese says he's having such a great time, and it's hard to have a bad time when you're you're 7.5 games ahead of the next best team in the National League, right? 29-5. They're 29-5 when their pitchers give them a quality start, and that's 3 runs in 6 innings, which I've always said, a quality start isn't that great a quality start. And they've been giving it to a bullpen that hasn't been inconsistent. And you still look down, and they're 23 games over 500, and you just go, this is crazy because they're just mashing.
Yeah.
They're getting good at bats, and teams are accusing them of cheating, right? Like they know what pitch is coming, right? But it's such nonsense. Like that.
You got to be kidding.
Yeah, it's crazy. The Brewers, were doing that, and then who was it? The
Mets.
The Mets, right?
Yeah. And then you have Walker Buehler throw a gem last night, right?
He was fantastic.
Yeah.
And Ryu, who has been the absolute ace of the staff. Undefeated, 5-0 in May, pitcher of the month, 0.59 ERA.
Wow.
Just crazy. 3 walks in 5 starts.
So, getting back to what they did, I think they did this a little bit last year. Like, do you see them with this big lead trying to monitor their pitches and give them time off and stuff like that to, for the playoffs? I remember they did that a little bit last year.
I think that ship has sailed with this crew, right? I think with the Striplings and the Urias, they're in the pen, and so they're limiting their pitches. I mean, Urias didn't because of his domestic abuse issues that were going on. And there's no charges going to be filed, but the Dodgers are probably in Major League Baseball are probably still investigating. He was on administrative leave for a while, and then he hadn't pitched in a while, so he wasn't super sharp, but. They're going to limit some of the innings, but and some of those things will shake out. Hill is 39 years old, right? But he's still dealing. I mean, the guy's still dealing. And Ryu, I was just reading something about that he's so unpredictable that there are guys that throw a fastball, first pitch, fastball, no count fastball, and under 49%. There's only 22 of them in all of the major leagues, right? That throw something other than a fastball with a 0 count, right? And then you start thinking he's got like 4 pitches, right? So he's throwing lefty change-ups with 2 strikes. He's just lights out unconscious. It's unlike anything I've seen in a long time. He's throwing every pitch with confidence. He gets behind, and he still is throwing change-ups and breaking balls down in the count, but he doesn't fall behind that often. But he's throwing everything with confidence. He's throwing strikes on every imaginable count. It's really something that's unbelievable right now. They're 8 games over 500 against the National League West. There's just nobody in their rearview mirror right now.
No. Yeah, no.
And Colorado has won 8 in a row.
Yeah.
And they're still 9.5 back.
Yeah. And the bullpen for the Dodgers is going to figure it out. I mean, that's one thing too, where Joe Kelly did the same thing with Boston last year. Barely made the roster, and he's a hero, in the World Series. It's like with the Striplings and the Urias and Baez and Kelly. I mean, they're going to figure it out. I mean, if it's I was listening to LA Sports Talk, on my way over here, and it was guys were kind of freaking out about the bullpen, but it's Hershire's like their stuff's good. It's just they're going through a bad. It's just
and it
they're
looks like
streaky.
Kimbrough's name is back on the table again. Keichel's name, but
Keuchel.
the names that are coming after them are more American League.
Yeah, it's
Minnesota,
all-
New York, those kind of guys are the ones that are interested. So
the guy you left out was Floro.
Flora,
He's been terrific,
unreal.
and he has hit a little blip, but that was expected.
Yeah.
But like you said, for me, when I look at this team and their resilience and what they've been doing when they're behind or when their bullpen struggles a little bit, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And so, I'm lucky to be living through this time, and hopefully we can get a World Series. But, there are times when Roberts does some kooky stuff, and who he protects Ballinger with, right? Like Beatty, right?
Yeah.
Will Smith is Kershaw calls him already. He's a major league receiver right now.
Yeah,
right.
that's
Who
great.
knows if he can hit?
Hit his first home run.
He hit his first home run, a game winner, right? Walk-off game winner. And, if that's always going to be the thing, is he going to hit, right? And he's not even like the number one guy.
No,
that's Ruiz, right?
Yeah.
Right? And then so Rocky Gale they brought up first because they don't want to rush Ruiz. And then they gave Will Smith a chance because he's probably the best receiver of all three. Mm-hmm. And he is, he looks decent back there.
He's sharing time with who now?
Well, Barnes is going to come back. So it's just Barnes is on the injured list, but he's going to come back this weekend, and then he'll be shipped back out. But Martin and Barnes have been tolerable, right?
Yeah.
Martin is.
And he's, I didn't think it was a great signing.
He's a player to be named later now.
Yeah.
You get no idea.
So, anything
if your
else?
third base coach goes down, he'd be a good one for you.
We like Dino.
Yeah, I would take Dino.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I'd take Dino.
Sorry,
back
first
right
base, maybe.
Dino got a guy thrown out last night, and
that's all right. He's always been aggressive.
He's been very aggressive, and I watch him, and I think he's the best third base coach I've seen.
I know guys come in and bring their own guys in, and that's the one guy I would have just said, "You're fine there."
Yeah,
I don't think he's a bench coach though. Like he tried to be a bench coach,
Yeah.
and I'm like, he's a third base coach or a first base. I mean, I think he's more of a third base coach, but he's good. I mean, he's That was a great pickup, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And when Skoyak, 32-year-old hitting instructor, he's made a difference already.
Yeah.
So they had him in their system, and then he was with Arizona. And they just loved him. So he was a consultant, and then I guess he was a consultant at Arizona.
Yeah.
And he seems to really know what he's doing. He's got these guys locked in and hitting well. What else do you think about the league and going around? The Twins.
They won't stop, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
they're just hitting bombs left and right. I guess these are the kind of things that can they stay?
Right.
This, but they're in a league where they can. I think obviously, Cleveland will obviously hopefully reel them in a little bit, but. You got Kansas City in that league and White Sox. I mean, I think you're fine there, right? If you can just keep wiping it up against your division, you're going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
But, to me, I'll be honest with you, it was a surprise,
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like the Yankees are still, I mean, they're not even 100%.
No, that's the
I mean,
scary
that's
thing.
going to be a scary, when they're 100%, that's going to be the scary thing there. But overall, it's just been, it's been fine. It's been great to see what the Dodgers are doing. I just hope it's not a hump. I hope it's a hump that they can get over with, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I took the Yankees against them, because you would win.
So. Yeah.
Right. Thanks for the reverse curse, and I appreciate that.
So
what have you seen, Jake, out there in the majors that is either surprising you or that you find interesting out there?
I'll be honest. One thing that is interesting to me now, and I saw it live as I was at an Angel game against the Twins a couple Mondays ago, and just how boring it was. I want more hit and runs. I want more steals. I want, quicker pace in baseball. I mean, literally it is move over here, move left here, move right here, and, throw, play catch and field the baseball and hit. Like, there's just no strategy anymore. And that's the one thing where I kind of hope in the next 5 to 10 years, maybe the shifts can kind of go away for a little bit, because I feel like now it's, now I understand why, the Major League Baseball is the lowest attendance rate ever. I think it was down 10 point something percent a couple weeks ago, and it's just like, I don't know. I just kind of want baseball to, I don't know, not be fun again, but just make it more enjoyable when you're going to a game. I mean, it was just sitting there. I was like, I've seen better high school baseball games played than, major league. So that's one that I'm kind of, the analytics side's getting a little bit annoying in some aspects of it.
Right, because at some point it's like, like the guy in Jeopardy, right? You find the trick, right, that opens the box, and then it stops being fun, right? The shift is one of those things where it's interesting. Watching the Dodgers, they're playing 23 games over 500, so it's a little different.
Yeah.
But if you're watching a 500 team and consistently hitting into shifts or getting burned on a shift or something like that, I can see where it's just, I'm okay with the shifts, and I guess watching the Dodgers and the kind of success that they're having, it's hard not to be. But I think if you take a broader look at it, it really does it does impede the things like the hit and runs.
Yeah.
See, I'm
nobody bunts anymore.
We never grew up watching this, right?
No.
So this is as a kid, and I'm a big fan of. I'll allow you to take a kid to the base, but I'm not going to allow you to take a kid over that base, right? Mm-hmm. That's just me being an old traditional kind of guy.
Yeah.
Now, on the flip side, it's like, well, learn how to hit the ball the other way, right? I mean, but now with analytics, right? And you can just and how these pitchers are so precise that they can move everybody over there and just bust you in and bust you in and bust you in, because the only way you got to do it is just because you can't hit that ball the other way when he's just. Now, where do you get lucky? Well, when he misses and the ball flies away on him, and then you go with the pitch, and that's what hurt you. But, kudos to the system, for figuring this all out and doing your homework. And so I'm kind of 50-50 on this thing. Yeah. I don't like, by the way, the third baseman's got to run over to second base and play second base, and the shortstop's going to move over, and I don't know. It frustrates me. Would you see run potential go up if you kept these guys, not being able to cross the base?
Well, I think it's clearly why Major League Baseball won't admit it, but it's clearly the reason why they've juiced the balls. You can't have guys just swinging and missing. You got, when they do make contact, the ball's got to go, and that's why they've
because people go to the games to be excited. You went the other, and you were bored.
Yeah.
I mean that's.
Yeah. Well, for instance, Walker Buehler's game, it was a 2.5-hour game.
And
we're talking about like, oh my God, this is amazing. There were 20 strikeouts in that game, right? He had 11. Robbie Ray had 9.
But he works fast. But the other guy's got to work fast too, to make that 2.5 games.
2.5 hour game. But that's the exception anymore. Nobody plays 2.5 hour games anymore. They're 3 hours plus, right? I don't know that there are things that you can do that will bring that down dramatically. I've said it before. I'm a proponent of the computerized strike zone. Then there's no arguing. There's no guy storming off the mound thinking about, boy, that was a strike, or a guy saying that was a ball, and people arguing and delaying the game. It's like, it's either a ball or a strike. It's defined, black and white, and then computerized. And as long as you've got this thing at 99.999%, and it's better than a human umpire, then let's go with it, right? Because it speeds the game up. There's no arguing. There's none of the stepping out. It's just it. I think guys shouldn't be able to step out as much, or get signs for 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it also brings in the whole arguing out of the game, right? I mean, poor kid from Louisville last night or yesterday. You see what happened to him? Oh, he throws a ball that slides right in, starts in the middle of the plate, slides right in the inside corner. I thought it was a great pitch, and he's just looking at it. He's like, ball 1 or ball 2 or something like that, and all of a sudden the guy's looking at me and looking at him. He's like, that was horrible. Thrown out.
Yeah, that was bad.
All he said, he goes, that was horrible. Throws him out, and then all of a sudden he says it, and then he turns his back and walks the other side of the mound, kind of stretches when he comes around, and all of a sudden the umpire's halfway to the mound, and he's throwing him out, and he's holding his arm like for something I just said.
Right.
You ready for this? You know what the results are? He's out 4 games. If you get thrown out in a college World Series or a college game, you're out 4 games. This kid was dealing. Like, he's a good pitcher for Louisville.
Yeah.
And so that's where
for a starting pitcher, right? That's a start, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So sending him out of game is not a punishment. So I mean, I get the punishment, but I don't. I don't get.
He might have been a reliever.
I don't get
know.
an umpire, being that quick on the trigger, right?
Yeah. Shouldn't be.
And he didn't say that's horrible. He kind of said it like it's horrible. He didn't. I don't think there was any
say
voice
that's
to
effing
it.
horrible.
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, you
Or
could
you're
read it on his
horrible.
lips. He said that's horrible. But I thought it was a little bush league, like a little quick trigger there to throw him out. I would have had a little face to face with him and said, "I call strikes, you pitch." Like that's it.
You probably called him a blank sucker.
And I think the other now thinking about it too, I think
Boy, this is now PG-13.
yeah.
We're getting there.
I think that Angel game that I did go to, though, I think it just made me just kind of miss Socha just about, how he would just keep guys in motion. Now we're in the, Ausmus stage, and it's just, let me just chew my
Ausmus,
seeds. I can't stand him. Thank God Darren Erstad relieved his duties. I would take Darren Erstad.
Yeah, but he wants to be with his family, so I don't know.
Back to Tustin. That's where he lived before.
Yeah,
I
don't
can't stand Ausmus.
He had a situation the other day
God.
with Luke Roy up at the bat, men on first and second with no outs, and it's screaming bunt.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's screaming bunt, and everybody that's talking on the. I think I was listening to.
Terry
it was
Smith
Fox.
said it.
No, it was Fox.
Oh.
It was Fox. Actually, it was a Fox game, and they're like, the Angels need to bunt here. Like it's screaming bunt. I know it's screaming bunt. You got to bunt here. Ground ball, double play.
Yeah.
2 outs now, man up.
John, it's a good question, and I want to explain to you why I didn't bunt there.
Oh yeah,
because
guy tapped on my shoulder and gave me 7 pieces of paper that told me not to.
Look, I get it. I get it, but sometimes there's a feel, and I think Roberts, for as much as he does and has relied on the analytics and been a bit of a slave to the front office in that regard, I think he also is. He was the kind of scrappy player that there's still some time, and they had a safety squeeze on the other night.
Yeah,
right. The Dodgers had a safety squeeze on the other night again, and they were up a few runs, but it was a great call.
It was perfect.
It was a great call.
Oh, it was Taylor, I think, right?
Yeah.
Taylor did, yeah.
Yeah, with Verdugo coming down the line.
Yeah.
And just fantastic stuff. They sent Will Smith, the catcher, right? He stole a base. It had to be reviewed, but it ended up he stole it. And so they're running a little bit more. Bellinger's got something like 9 stolen bases. So I agree. I like when you get guys in motion, but, as Earl Weaver would say, you got those fleas on the base paths getting picked off. Give me one of those big bleeps coming up and 3-run home run. All right. We're moving on to NBA basketball, the finals. As we said, that's a series now. The Warriors dropped the first in Toronto. And again, that's a 59-win Toronto team that earned home court advantage.
Yeah.
And with the injuries that have been going on with the Warriors and, no Kevin Durant and then Klay Thompson out, that was a gutty Warriors win on the road.
One that slipped away, too, for Toronto. I mean, can you imagine if they were going up 2-0 back to Golden State?
Right. A lot of confidence, a lot of swagger.
Yeah. Blew that lead, and now Golden State, one-legged Golden State, splits a series, and now they're going back home for 2. That's scary.
And I don't know how you guys see it, but I felt like Toronto lost the game. I don't know if the Warriors won the game.
Right.
The
Warriors didn't score. Didn't score a bucket until that three by Iguodala for 5 minutes.
Yeah. And then knowing the statistics as these guys know, I think I heard it the other day. Steph Curry's averages 5 points in the first quarter. He averages 4 points in the second quarter, and he almost averages 10 to 11 in the third quarter.
Right.
And, obviously they're a third quarter team that actually can really get on runs. KD is out, I just heard. And the other kid that hurt his ribs is out. And now...
Looney.
Yeah, and now... Thompson, Clay is if he's he's a game time decision type of deal. Spread's gone from 6 to 4.5 now. But again, I felt like Toronto to win the series had to go into San Francisco 2-0, and they're not. And now I get
Oakland.
Oh no, Golden State. Had to go into Golden State.
Oracle
2-0. And to win, I think. But now with these injuries, I think it's now, I don't know, maybe they do have a chance. But if that team was, if Clay was healthy, 100%, I think it was a done deal.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You don't know how this is all going to work out. So, but
I mean, it felt to me like you said, if Toronto could have just hit some open shots.
Yeah.
well, I mean,
Because they stifled the Warriors in that fourth quarter.
and Winter did his job. He scored over 30 points, right?
Yeah.
He did his job, and there was just no help, right? And that's what they did in the first game. They got all that help. There was no help.
Lowry falling out.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
second game in a row he's fouled out. Like that's a guard. I mean, he's acting like he's a center, So, yeah, I think they're going to have to be a little bit more disciplined, and there's got to be help, right? Leonard can only do so much, right? So, I think if you're a Toronto fan, you've got to be worried not only about the series but about the future of your franchise, right? Because if Kawhi is leaving, that's an older squad, right? There's really, who do you build around, right? On that team, if Kawhi doesn't stay. So I think the only way Kawhi stays is if they win and he defends his title. I think he's gone.
Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that way, and for me, I just as this starts to slip away, it feels like the die is cast, that he's ready to go. Now we're talking about the Lakers and the Clippers. They're just sort of waiting to see what's going on and who they're going to get. And as things are idle, there's just it's become like a New York sort of town in this regard. There's just so much laser focus on what's going on and the predictions about, I personally feel like LeBron's in LA. He's an LA guy now, right? He's a Hollywood guy now. I think he's sort of like, he's had enough. He's competitive, but I don't feel like he's putting the pressure on, but it feels like every sports pundit thinks that if the Lakers strike out or they whiff on free agency or a trade, that LeBron's going to want to jump ship or want to trade. I just don't feel that way, and I felt like LeBron looks around and sees some of these kids and says, look, give me somebody else, but if you just give me the kids and fill in a couple of blanks, we might be able to do something here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. This whole LeBron thing is kind of fishy because, what is it, 2 more years on his contract?
Yeah.
And I just don't know how these guys are thinking about investing for the future.
Before his
right?
option.
Yeah. And, I know that it's going to be, if it doesn't go off to whoever they fill him in with, and it gets ugly, that he's gonna say like, well, I gave you Tyronn Lue and you didn't want to sign him to 5 years, and now you got me 2 head coaches that are probably going at each other's. I mean, he's going to be able to go that angle, and start complaining with, I told him this and they did this, and
that's not LeBron's style. LeBron is the kind of guy to like tell him behind the scenes, but come out and say, I didn't have anything to do with that. I didn't tell him to hire Ty Lue.
Yeah.
I'm but he's not coming out and saying the kinds of things that you want him to say. I think he's got other interests, and I just don't know. But then you start hearing things, and people want to start filling the gaps, and it's like Jason Kidd, the highest paid assistant coach, right? For what? Right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, wait a minute, if you're trying to get Anthony Davis and the Pelicans want Lonzo Ball, why the hell did you pay this guy so much freaking money? If you have any chance that you might be shipping Ball off to get Anthony Davis, why are you paying Kidd so much freaking money?
Yeah.
Because who the hell else is he supposed to train, right? Because that's why they brought him, right?
Right, yeah.
Right? To be the mentor for Lonzo Ball. But if I'm going after Anthony Davis and the Pelicans want Ball, goodbye.
Yeah.
So I don't understand what the Lakers are doing with all that, and there's a lot of question marks for me.
Because Rondo ain't gonna listen to him, right?
No.
So
but does Rondo? Is he still got he's got 1 more year, or does he got an option year, or what?
I think he'll stay.
Yeah,
I think he'll stay.
Yeah.
I think he likes playing with LeBron.
Well, I mean, especially too now that came out today that there's 6 or 7 teams out for Anthony Davis. Because I mean, there was 2. Now we're.
Oh, they're gonna listen to every offer.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
I mean, who would you want? Because now there's Kyrie.
I'm not a big Kyrie fan. I if you give me Davis to go with LeBron and we kind of fill in the blanks from there, that would be a good 1-2 punch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
look. Maybe I'm Pollyanna about this. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't think. I mean, look, it would be great for the Lakers to have somebody who can rim protect and score like Anthony Davis. There aren't too many guys like that out there. And I said, whoever they want, just give it to them. We can fill in the gaps around LeBron and Anthony Davis. But again, if nobody wants to deal with Pelinka and the owner of the Pelicans says, I'll trade to anybody but the Lakers, then it's probably not going to happen. I hear lots of things about Alvin Gentry. He really likes Lonzo Ball. And he really likes some of the guys. I don't think it's going to happen. So then there's a step down from there. Are they in it for Kawhi Leonard? Well, I don't think Kawhi's signing with the Lakers. I don't think he's signing with the Clippers, but I don't think he's coming to LA. That's my opinion. But it's certainly not the Lakers. So who, after that, what's a home run? What's even a single for the Lakers? Butler? Kemba Walker?
Beal.
Well, the kid Walker is, but I think he's going to want a stupid amount of money.
Yeah, no, he's going to want max.
He's going to want max money, and I don't know if he's that kind of guy.
Yeah,
I don't know. So
I'm unclear on where this all goes. All I know is that, like I said last week, I like Vogel's interpretation of what he wants around. LeBron is a drive and dish guy. The best that maybe ever played the game. Let's fit the team around that.
Yeah, give me shooters.
Right. Give me shooters. Give me guys that spread it. That's why I think, if they sign a guy like the kid who played for USC, Vucevic, right? Mm-hmm. A guy who's a big, who can spread the floor but doesn't play any defense. You might disappoint Laker fans, but it's going to be the kind of guy offensively that complements LeBron.
And that's what LeBron had. Didn't he have the Australian kid from in Cleveland, right?
Bogut?
No. I thought but he had a shooter he had a couple shooters.
Love. I mean, obviously Kevin Love can spread the floor. There was always a lot of guys that were shooting, the three on the perimeter, and that's how you win, right?
Mm-hmm.
You advance, but you still got to play some defense. That's the only way. So you need somebody to rim protect, and I'm not sure where the Lakers are going to get that. And that fourth, again, things look attractive for what the Lakers have as for Anthony Davis. I think it's better than what the Knicks have. I think it's better than what Boston could be offering. You got a number 4 pick this year. You got guys like Ball, Ingram, or Kuzma, maybe Josh Hart, other guys that are available. But Anthony, if you're the Pelicans, you just hold out. You just hold out until somebody overpays, because somebody's going to have to overpay to get Anthony Davis.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
All right. So we've got tomorrow night is Game 3 at Oracle. Predictions from you? Who do you like?
I actually think I'm gonna take the underdog.
I'm
taking the points.
I'll take the points. Yeah. Because I just don't think Clay's 100%. I don't even know if he's 80%. So I just don't like their depth, and I think the Raptors are going to keep it close. So
yeah, I mean, I think Clay's going to play.
Yeah.
But I think the Looney being out, I mean, that's like a broken rib now. That's not even a they said it was a bruise, but it's like broken, whatever it is. So he's got a fracture, so he's not playing. I think that's a bigger deal because now they've just got no depth at all. Who do you like?
I'm going to go with Golden State. I'll take them.
Front runner.
I know. It's bad. But I agree with John, though. I think it's going to be close.
So we will see. That series tied at
Was it
1
Jay Crowder?
apiece.
what the shooter that LeBron had?
Crowder? I don't
Jay
think that was an
Crowder?
Australian guy.
Whatever. Comanche Indian. Kind of name is Poon.
We've come to that point in the show where John is just
UCLA 3, Oklahoma 1, bottom of the third.
Bottom of third, just a few innings away from their first softball title. Yep. So now we move to the U.S. Open Golf Championship.
Are we already there?
We are there.
Wow.
We got
We're
there.
not going to talk about Jerry West?
What about him?
Well, I mean, I thought it was a great award that he's going to get from Mr. Trump.
Oh, the Medal of Freedom.
Yeah.
The same one
What
that
about
Tiger
him?
Woods.
What about
Yeah.
him?
Yeah.
He's
a
the
clipper.
logo. He's the logo.
He's a clipper. That's right. The Lakers Hall of Famer Jerry West getting the Medal of Freedom from the president, the nation's highest civilian honor.
I mean, a lot of people don't know the history of Jerry West, but was brought up in West Virginia, had a strong father, alcoholic. I would say he's on the abusive side a little bit. Yeah, very abusive.
I don't think Jerry is made
and Jerry West, more or less has come out and said, if I didn't have basketball, I would have been dead by now. And playing his basketball and becoming a great teammate, to a great leader, to becoming a very successful general manager. I think this is great. I mean, he's been a very positive guy. He's a very thankful guy. He thanks everybody. I think looks great for the age of 80 or right around 80, and I think they picked a winner here for that honor. So
nobody classier in the NBA, and like you said, for a guy to have come from that kind of background and to be the superlative person that he is, not only athletically but just as a good man, it's a great honor. Yeah, Jerry West. I mean, Lakers, Clippers. He's
Golden State. He went up to Golden State,
right?
And helped that. Yeah. I know he's always wanted to stay on the West Coast. Son now is going to be marrying Michelle Wie, the LPGA girl.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. I guess they fell in love over a cup of coffee, and 2 weeks later they were engaged. So that was an interesting one. But yeah, they're going to be getting married here. I think probably winter.
Are you invited?
No, I haven't got that invitation yet. No.
Michelle doesn't know you from the
No. She might
tour?
know my face, but that's about it. Nope, I was a one here, Milli Vanilli, one-hit wonder out on the tour, so not a lot of people.
She doesn't recognize
some
you.
Some of the loopers remember me, but some of the players don't. So. More or less they look at me and go, "Here, clean my ball, rake my bunker." So
we're moving on to golf.
Yeah,
since we're there, we're in the bunker with you.
Oh,
we're there.
We are. Okay.
Pebble Beach.
I will not be here next week, ladies and gentlemen. I will be actually at the U.S. Open. So can't wait to see the golf course. I'm going to try my hardest actually to walk around it a little bit before the week really starts, and kind of just see how they shave the fairways.
What have you heard about what they've done to the course?
So obviously roughs up in certain areas. There are some holes that they have actually gone to the limit, which is I think 20 yards wide or 23 yards, and they've really just went right on that. Mm-hmm. So if the hole is not that long, they've made it very, very narrow. I don't know any of the holes that they always like to give you a par 4 that's drivable. I don't know if that's going to be which hole they're going to do that yet. I don't know where they're going to put that. But they will do it to a point where if you don't hit the right shot, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. I did notice on some Instagram pages that they have taken the rough on 18 and they've taken it almost to the tree that is in the middle of the fairway. And then they shave the whole left side fairway all the way they're shaving it all the way to the rocks. So a ball will not stop. Like if they get a ball going left, it's going to be wet. So there's no rough down the left side of 18. It's all fairway. That's one thing I saw. I've seen the heatherness grow up around the bunkers. So especially around 17. If you guys don't remember when Watson's chipped in out of the rough and Kite too, they've let that grow back up. Tiger has asked for it. He's like, I want the traditional tight fairways, big rough. So I think it's all based on the weather. So if they get any type of sunshine, that thing is going to be fast, and they'll try to burn it out by Saturday and Sunday. So yeah, I look forward to seeing what they're going to do and how they're going to. They have history there, so they know how to. Although last time it was there, Tiger just tore it up. So I don't know what they've changed from back when he won to present. So, yeah, it could be quite interesting. I can't wait to see it if I even get a chance to see it.
What's the week like? What's the agenda for the course?
Well, it's so just so you know, the USGA probably about 6 months ago has taken over this golf course. So Pebble Beach doesn't have any say on how it's being structured. So maybe even longer than that. They have an idea of how they want to construct it. So then they'll let the grass grow a certain way, and then they'll mow from that point on. But the USGA has full control of the golf course. And the USGA sets up the pins, and when you hand over a course to the USGA, they have the full right to just do whatever they want to it. They could almost destroy the greens if they want, because you make so much money off of the tournament, right? So if you say, yeah, you baked my greens and I'm going to have to put a lot of stuff, they say, well, you just made $1 million. You can go do that, or $2 million or whatever it is. So. So that's how that is, and then they'll actually see how the week is going. And when you get to a green at the U.S. Open, the USGA will actually they'll probably take 8 pin placements, and they'll put 8 pin placements together completely based on weather. So if the wind's blowing here, they do it this way. You got to open that up, I think. And you got to, if the wind's blowing this direction, you got to open up. You got to put the pins in this direction. So, the pins are always based and put together based on weather in all 4 directions. So they can, they don't want to put a pin in a spot where if it's blowing so hard, you can't keep the ball on the green, right? So the balls are rolling up, and you can do that in certain spots. The 4th green is really front to back, and if you get that thing baked really hard, and you're hitting putts up to a back pin, and it keeps coming back to you, like, you got issues there because maybe the wind's blowing, in the direction. So they'll put 8 pin placements together per green, and then they'll pick and choose. So they know how the weather system's coming and how to go ahead and put the pins together for that.
Do you know how long before the start of the first round they'll punch the cups?
Oh, so they'll actually be doing all that stuff pretty much later this week to the beginning of next week.
Got it.
Yeah. I've actually caddied in a U.S. Open, women's U.S. Open, and I saw them doing that. They were finishing up on Monday, Tuesday, because they don't want to get in the way of the players that are going out and hitting balls. And so I want to say a lot of that will be done Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I would say that's how they pick their pins. Plus, they have history from the past, like, where pins were and where the wind was and all that kind of stuff. So they have history there, and that's kind of what the players will probably go off of. They will actually practice in the spots where, the Open had pins there last time. But
we know how tough that course is for a golfer. How tough is it for a caddy?
It's not that bad. No, it's not that bad at all. It's bad if you're sitting in the rough, walking in the rough all day long. Yeah, but no, it's a second shot golf course. The 8th hole, which I think is one of the most stunning second shots in golf. Yeah. Nicklaus calls it the hardest second shot in golf. Mm-hmm. If there's any wind at all, I mean, you just hit and hope, right? So the golf course, what you need to do is you need to get off to a great run from 1 to 7. 1 to 7 is the key to the golf course. That can set up your whole entire round, because you're going to have to hold on for the ride 8, 9, and 10. And that is a real big, strong part of the golf course. And then you finish it by 16, 17, and 18. So if you can score from 1 to 7 and 11 through 14, 15, 11 through 15, those holes right there is the core to your success. And then the other ones are you're just par is your friend. So, and if you make birdie, I think you picked up shots, to be honest with you. Wow. So that's the key, because 1, you can hit an iron off of and have like 9 iron in, right? 2 is a reachable par 5, okay? 3 is driver to 3-wood, and you have maybe 9 iron down. 4 is almost a drivable par 4, so you can hit iron to a sand wedge. 5 is a really good par 3. I mean, you're hitting between 5 and 6 iron into that based on the wind, but you have to really carve a good iron shot there. And 6 is a par 5. If you drive it in the middle of the fairway, you have a chance to reach it in 2. And 7 is the legendary 7th hole, which, is a sand wedge or a pitching wedge. So there's all your scoring is, if you can get yourself 3 or 4 under par and you go into 8, 9, and 10, and you can get through those at even par or maybe 1 over, you're fine. Now you got a little bit of hitting golf shots. They're stronger holes. 11's a shorter hole, but it's very unique. The green is very severe, so you have to hit a shot in there that's going to be able to put you on the right side of the hole. Pebble Beach, in certain areas, it's almost better that you're putting from 15 to 20 feet straight up at it than having something above it or pin high that breaks a lot or is just lightning fast on the way down. So, when you're playing in the U.S. Open, especially later in the rounds, which is Saturday, Sunday, you need to work up to these holes, right? You need to even chip up to the holes, right? So it's, so it should be great. It should be a great event, and I think it's Pebble Beach's 100th year. It's a big year for them, and it's just a legendary place. It's God's country up there.
It's beautiful. It's gorgeous.
It's the Monterey Peninsula. So it's
that's why they pay you to drive around it. You have to pay to drive around
17-mile drive.
Right.
Yeah. So, but it should be fun. I got a couple picks here.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Now, if the weather gets way out of hand, who do you like?
When you say way out, they're just windy and tough.
Yeah. Are you picking somebody different?
Flip a coin.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it could be anybody.
It's whoever didn't cry themselves to sleep the night before.
Right. Yeah. It's chalky. My picks are chalky. I got a couple like.
Okay.
I'll throw in an additional 2 guys that could be like just.
All right.
Because the one thing about the U.S. Open is it's an open. It's open to anybody to try to qualify. So 60 players, the top 50 in the world are automatically in, right? And then there's another 65 or 70 that actually have to qualify for it.
Oh, wow.
Right? So it allows the Joe Public, we if our handicap's low enough, we can go try to qualify for this tournament, right? So there's a lot of tour players that are exempt to every single tournament. That's because they're not top 50 in the world. They have to go qualify for it. So now they're exempt into sectionals, but there's a whole regional and sectional. So some of these people that qualified yesterday, they played 18 holes, about a month and a half ago, and then they had to walk 36 yesterday and qualify in one day. So, so my pick to win the whole thing, and he likes the golf course, he plays well there, is Dustin Johnson. He's a bomber. He's a great driver of the golf ball. He controls his wedges. He's played great in opens before. If he drives the ball, he's going to be really tough and he can play in wind. I don't know. I haven't done the 10-day forecast, so I don't know what it's going to be like. Obviously, Tiger, right? Tiger's just on a roll. He's playing well. He loves the golf course. He's won on the golf course. He's won an Open on the golf course. He's he's taken himself from 800 and something in the world to 5th in the world.
Yeah,
it's a great story, right? It's and he's playing good. He's played pretty good at the Memorial. Xander Schauffele, San Diego kid.
Okay.
Hits the ball very straight. I think he's somebody that possibly could pop through and win an Open. He's won before on tour now. And so I think he's a kid that actually, he's a SoCal kid, so he's played up there in amateur tournaments and stuff, so he knows the golf course. And he's taken the last couple weeks off, so I think he's really gearing himself towards this event. I'll take Justin Rose, and Justin Rose, is very chalky here, but he just really knows how to play U.S. Opens. And my 5th pick is the kid who just won, Patrick Cantlay, the kid from UCLA. He just won on a golf course that actually had somewhat of a feel to a U.S. Open. Greens are really, the greens were softer, but the greens, the fairways were tight, the rough was up, and the kid goes out and shoots 64 in the last round to win by a couple. And That was pretty impressive. Again, local kid, playing well, knows Pebble Beach. So probably taking this week off now after the win, and will prep himself and get ready for the Open. So that's kind of my chalk, right?
Right.
A couple guys had to qualify yesterday, and they actually put up good numbers. One of them, I don't know if
It
he's
wasn't Jake, was it?
No,
no. Jake missed the cut.
I was horrible yesterday at Muni,
yeah.
so I had no business being there.
So Jake's a +4 though in the driving range. Never misses a shot.
Never missed a shot.
And
on the 19th hole too.
yeah.
Never misses a shot.
Never.
Or two.
Yeah.
Or two.
Yeah. So the one is won a major, and he's actually been playing pretty good of late. If he can get his putter going, I think he'd be very in contention because he's such a great ball striker. Is Jason Duffner? I'm going to take him as a long sleeper there. And the other guy is a guy who's just been playing almost week after week, and actually been playing very consistent, always in the top 15. He shot like 69, 67 yesterday, something like that, to get through. And it's Rory Sabatini.
No.
Yeah, so there's another sleeper for you.
Oh my!
I don't know if he's going to win, but don't be surprised if he's up there coming down the stretch, like in contention. Rory Sabatini.
Wow.
That's not.
You heard it here.
Yeah,
first.
not Rory.
McIlroy. Yeah, no,
Rory
the
Sabatini.
other Rory.
Yeah. So that's two like dark horses for me. So
I like it. I like it.
That's who I picked, and so
Didn't he used to play women's tennis?
no.
No, that was another Sabatini. There was
Right.
Gabriella
Yeah.
Sabatini.
Gorgeous from Argentina.
Yeah. PG.
You're
Yeah.
right. PG-13.
13.
Yeah.
PG.
13. No.
All right. So we
3-3. Oklahoma.
The Sooners.
Yeah,
Lady Sooners coming
they're
back.
making a run right here. So 3-3.
Excellent. Well, they might have to put it off one game, but UCLA on the brink.
and UCLA's got their ace pitcher going.
Yeah.
Rachel.
That's what. Yeah,
Garcia.
that's what's classic about it. Like those girls can throw like 9,000 innings in 1 week.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So you got one pitcher, you can go the distance.
Yep.
You
Yeah,
know,
she
just
threw
keep throwing
10
her out
innings
there.
in her like 2
Yeah.
wins ago. Yeah.
Well, yeah, she had the 17-inning game where she did get the walk-off home run to win it. She said, "That's it. I got to take care of this myself." All right. Well, that's it for now. We got thank you, John Adams.
Yep.
Jake, the Ferminator.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jake Fermansky. And for our fearless leader, John Stellman, I'm Vince Morales. Good night.
Peace.